subgrade, here if it is provided a rigid pavement, there will be a lesser impaction. If it is a flexible pavement, the impact will be more. That's why the time period or the life will be less for the flexible pavement, more will be for the rigid pavements. We have learned totally two types. One is flexible, another one is rigid. Again, in the flexible, there are three conditions, or nothing but three types: conventional layer flexible, second one full depth asphalt pavement, third one contained rock asphalt mat. First one will be conventional flexible. As the name indicates, conventional method. Conventional flexible methods are layered systems with a high quality expensive materials are placed into the top where the stresses are high. Low quality cheap materials are placed in a lower areas. If it is a high quality, we need to go for the high quality of materials. If it is cheap quality, then you need to go for the cheap quality of materials placed over a low layers. Next, full depth asphalt roads. These are constructed placing a bitumen layers directly on the subgrade. This after the subgrade, in here we can see this one is our subgrade. After the subgrade, directly they will place the bitumen, nothing but a bituminous layer. This one is known as a full depth asphalt, means the full depth will be asphalt only. Asphalt. This is known as a full depth asphalt pavements. Next one, contained rock asphalt mats. These are constructed by placing the dense or open graded aggregates layers into the between two asphalt layers. In this figure, examination, if they may ask for the cross section flexible pavement, we should write about the first layer will be surface course. Here the vehicles are moving. This one is known as an surface course. Below the surface course, base course will be there. Compare when coming to the upper one, this will be our second part, and the third part will be sub base. That one is the optional, usually treated for the subgrade. Otherwise, the subgrade will be gets vanished or nothing but it will be gets impaction. This one is the cross section for rigid pavement. In the previous slide, we have learnt for flexible pavement. This one is nothing but for rigid pavement. For rigid, direct concrete slab over the base course. Below the base course, direct. Here only three categories. One is subgrade, that is the natural. After the subgrade, sub base, base course, and concrete slab. But in compared to the flexible pavement, surface course, base course, sub base, subgrade. In rigid pavements, directly concrete slab and base course, sub base. We should know about this, all four parameters. Next comes to the thickness. What will be the thickness? For surface course, around 25 to 50 mm. Over that, one more is a seal coat. What do you mean by seal coat? Seal coat will be the final beauty or nothing but for aesthetic view purpose as well as the waterproofing purpose. If you are not providing a seal coat, continuous leakage of the water can be expected in a courses. That's why we need to provide a seal coat. Wait for a minute, I will show the picture of a seal coat. This will be our seal coat. Here both we can say prime coat. Prime coat is the below the seal coat. Over that prime coat there will be a seal coat. See here, we are providing a seal coat. Main provision of seal coat will be for a waterproofing purpose. After seal coat, surface course, that is around 25 to 50 mm. Below the surface course, 50 to 100 mm binder course will be there. Whenever going for the thickness, you can see here clearly, surface course is having a very lesser thickness compared to the binder course. Binder course will be larger thickness compared to surface course. Base course again much more than the binder course. Sub base again that is almost equal to the base course, but when the last one is nothing but compacted subgrade, that will be equals to or more than the sub base, 150 to 300 mm. This one is nothing but a cross section of flexible pavements. See here, these are the compacted subgrades, granular structures like materials. This will be our wheel load P. The load will be distributed from the surface course to binder course to base course to sub-base course, and the last one is compacted subgrade. In details, we can see the first one, the typical layers of a flexible pavement. First one is seal coat. What do you mean by seal coat? Seal coat is a thin surface layer treated for a use to waterproof of a structure. Here nothing but waterproof should be done, because to avoid a leakage or dampness. That's why we need to provide a seal coat. After the seal coat, second one is the track coat. Nothing but one immediately after the seal coat, track coat is provided. Track coat is very light application of asphalt. Here we are applying a very thin layer of asphalt, but here we are providing a prime layer, seal coat. Below that, prime coat will be there. Usually asphalt emulsion diluted with the water is provided for a binding purpose. Between two layer, one track coat is provided. Next one is a prime coat. Here low viscous liquid, nothing but bituminous material, because if we are provided a temperature, automatically the viscosity will be increases. That's why we are providing the bituminous material over an existing poor upstream. That should be, the viscosity of the material should be less. If you provided a more viscosity, automatically that will be flows like this one. So it should not happen. That's why we are providing a low viscous liquid. Next, prime coat is a plug for the capillary voids of the porous surface to bind the loose materials on the existing surface. See here, this one is our prime coat, and the last one is a seal coat. Next, typical layers of flexible pavement. What are typical layers? In the examination, most of the times they have asked typical layers for flexible pavement only. First one is surface course, where the layers directly comes in contact with the traffic. Means nothing but if we assume we are walking on a road or we are moving on a vehicle, that direct course which is directly contact with our vehicles or us is known as a surface course. Generally contains a superior quality, because that should not be some obstacles for the passenger. That should be a very smooth for the smooth vehicles. They are usually constructed with a dense graded asphalt concrete. That is nothing but asphalt concrete, dense grade, very thinly densely graded like this, is known as an asphalt concrete. It provides a character such as a frictions, smoothness of drainage, etc. This all will protect the entrance of the excessive of quantity surface of water. Next one, which provides a smooth, nothing but already told, the skidness should be less, skid resistant. It must be a waterproof. The waterproof protect the entire base and subgrade weakening of affecting of water. Next one, typical layers of flexible pavement. Continuing, binding course. As the name indicates, binding course, this provides a bulk asphalt concrete structure to its chief purpose to distribute the loads from the base course. The loads, from the varying course to base course. In between, binding course will be there to distribute the load. Next, the binder course generally consists of aggregates having a less asphalt and doesn't require a quality of as the surface course. So replacing the part of surface course by the binder course, more economical design. Next one, base course. Base course is nothing but an layer material immediately beneath the surface binder. This binder course is an optional. If you want to provide, then we can provide. The automatically the cost will be less. But base course is much needed. Base course should be lower the layer over the material immediately beneath the surface. Binder course, and to provide a additional load distribution. After the varying course, next immediate course will be base course. After base course, again one more is a sub base course. Sub base course is a lower than the base course. Varying course, base course, sub base course, SBC, not a safe bearing capacity. Bearing course, base course, sub base course. The sub base course itself the layer material beneath the base surface. The primary functions of this should be providing a proper drainage or structural support to the roads. Next, a sub base course is not always needed. Again, it's an optional. Next, subgrade. This one is nothing but a very first layer before while constructing the road pavement. First layer that is over a earth surface. That's why we have called it a subgrade. The top soil layer of the subgrade is known as the layer of natural soil, prepared to receive the stresses from the layers above essentials. So we can clearly say that in detail in the examination, if they ask what are the functions or what are the layers, first you should write a subgrade. From first beginning I will come. Surface course. Next, base course. Very next, sub base. As I have already told, it's an optional. And the last one, subgrade. Surface course, base course. First we should know first layer. When we are moving, the contact of the passengers will be surface course. Immediately below the surface course, base course. That is a base for the surface. And the next one is sub base. Sub base. After sub base, and the last one will be subgrade. Next, types of rigid pavements. In the flexible pavement, learned around 3 types. Here we are learning around 4 types. Jointed plain concrete pavement, jointed reinforced concrete pavement, continuous reinforced concrete pavement, pre-stressed concrete pavement. As the name indicates, jointed plain concrete. Here there will be no reinforcement. Here there is a reinforcement. This is the difference between the jointed plain concrete pavement and jointed reinforced concrete pavement. And the third one is continuous reinforced pavement, concrete pavement. First one, jointed plain pavement. Construction with the closely spaced construction joints, dowel bars or aggregates. Interlocks are normally used for the load transfer. This is nothing but for lesser joints, around 5 to 10 meter joint spacing. Next, jointed reinforced concrete. Compared to this will be having a more strength as well as a more life, because we have provided a reinforcement here. Here no reinforcement. Here we have provided a reinforcement. Reinforcement do not improve the structural capacity out, but it can drastically increase the joint from 10 to 30 meter. Dowel bars are required to load transfer. These are the reinforcements to help the keep the slab for together without subjecting to cracks. See here, these are the reinforcement bars. This will comes in contact with like this before placing the concrete. This one is the after placing the concrete. Next one, continuous reinforced concrete pavements. Complete elimination of joints are achieved by reinforcement. So in this picture you can see A1, type A1, A2, A3, A4. A1 nothing but undoweled. Here the thickness is divided by T by 4. In longitudinal, the thickness is divided by T by 3. In dowel transfers, the thickness is divided by T by 2. Here longitudinal T2. This is the difference between the flexible as well as the rigid pavement. And this one is the top view of our slab. The longitudinal joint to joint, nothing but there will be a tie bars, and the standard spacing will be 15 feet. From 1 to second there will be a 15 feet in the distance, and the direction of travel will be like this. See here, this one is the side view. These are the transverse joints, and this one is the dowel bars. In this here you can clearly see subgrade, base course, surface course. Only 3 layers are there. This one is the final real picture of a rigid pavement. This one is the longitudinal joint, rigid joint, and these are the transverse courses. And our best example for this rigid pavement between the road of Hubli to Belgaum highway. This will be the example for rigid pavement. These are the construction of how they will conduct to the with the granular materials. Next we will conduct with the second one. For extra information, refer Khanna and Gesto.